I spent my son's university fund on a trip to Europe to drink beer like I always threatened, instead of giving it to his stepbrother after he passed away. My son Jake was 17 when this whole mess started. His mom remarried when he was 12 to this guy named Tony, who came with his own kid, Brian. Brian was 2 years older than Jake, and honestly, a complete nightmare from day one. The kid would steal Jake's clothes, break his gaming setup, and once even threw Jake's homework in the garbage disposal just because he felt like it. Tony always defended Brian no matter what, said Jake needed to toughen up, that boys will be boys. Meanwhile, my ex-wife just nodded along because she was desperate to keep her new marriage together. I was paying child support and doing everything I could to help Jake, but weekends at my place weren't enough to fix what was happening the rest of the week. The worst part was Jake never complained. He'd show up to my apartment with bruises on his arms and say he fell off his bike. His grades started dropping, and he quit the soccer team he loved. I could see my kid disappearing, but every time I brought it up with his mom, she'd say I was being dramatic. For years, I'd been putting money away for Jake's college fund. Every month, $200 went straight into that account. I'd joke with him about it, saying if he didn't get into college, I'd take the money and go drink beer in Germany instead. He'd laugh and promise to study hard so I wouldn't have an excuse to abandon him for European breweries. Then last year, Brian got diagnosed with some rare blood cancer. Suddenly, everyone's world revolved around him. Jake became invisible in his own house. His mom spent every waking moment at Brian's bedside. Tony was a wreck, and Jake was left to basically raise himself. The kid was doing his own laundry, making his own meals, walking to school because nobody remembered to drive him. Brian passed away 6 months later. It was tragic, I'm not heartless, but what happened next made my blood boil. 3 weeks after the funeral, my ex-wife called me crying. She said they needed money for Brian's medical bills and funeral costs. They'd maxed out their credit cards, borrowed against their house, the whole deal. Then she dropped the bomb. She wanted Jake's college fund to help pay for everything. I said absolutely not. That money was for Jake's future, not to clean up their financial disaster. She started screaming at me, saying I was selfish, that Brian was family too, that Jake would understand. Then Tony got on the phone and told me I was a piece of garbage for not helping them in their time of need. But here's the thing that really got me. When I asked to talk to Jake about it, they said he'd already agreed to give up the money. So I called my son directly, and you know what he told me? He said he felt guilty having college money when Brian would never get to go to college. This 17-year-old kid was willing to sacrifice his entire future because these people had convinced him he didn't deserve it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Jake's face when he talked about giving up his dreams. The kid had been through hell living with them, and now they wanted to take away his only chance at getting out and building something better. So I did exactly what I'd always threatened to do. I emptied that college account and booked myself a month-long trip through Germany, Czech Republic, and Belgium. Spent every single penny on flights, hotels, train tickets, and yes, a lot of really good beer. The trip was amazing, by the way. I visited breweries that had been around for centuries, met people who actually appreciated good conversation over a pint, and for the first time in years, I felt like myself again.